Welcome, Code Ninjas, to Computer Science Principles, Project 7.05, Part 2. In Part 1, we gathered a bunch of images and stored them in folders and displayed them on our web page. And now what we want to do is learn how to resize them and display them in an invisible table. So like, for instance, the three images down below of Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman have been arranged into a table with three columns, and that kind of keeps them really nice on the page. So that's what I want to show in this video. Okay, so part 1, we got the images. Part 2, we put them in tables. Okay, let's take a look. So here is part 1, and if you haven't watched this video right here, you should do that first. Let's look at part 2. Okay, so this is the lesson I'm talking about right now. Basically, in part 1, we had a title image and then 6 other images, which I'll show you in Replit. And then now we're going to add these table tags to make it really nice and resize things. Okay, so here is my project from part 1's video. Let's see, I have a title tag, title graphic, which I made in Google Slides. You can check that out. And then I have 2 folders. They each have 3 images. So in my comics folder, I have Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman. Then I have a Star Wars folder with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda. Okay, and the title is, notice, outside on the top level. And I have my index page. So when I run this and refresh the page, there's my images. And notice Obi-Wan and Yoda aren't showing up yet because I haven't done those tags. So let me take a look. They're in my Star Wars folder. I need to spell this exactly. So Obi-Wan, and that one is a .jpg. And here, the text, in case the link is broken, I'm going to type Kenobi. So let's say I spell Obi-Wan wrong in my link. Let's see what happens. So let me run this and go over. Remember, if you stretch this out on the far right, it says open a new tab. That's where you can see what's happening. So there's Anakin, and down here at the very bottom, there's a broken link for the Obi-Wan image. So I got to fix that. And let's take a look. Obi-Wan and run. And I found the easiest way is then to go back to that tab and refresh it. And let's see, Obi-Wan.jpg. Let me run this again and refresh it. Interesting. Obi-Wan.jpg. Oh, wow. I'm stumped. Let's take a look here. And my link is still broken. So, oh, wow. Haha, Mr. Hicks. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little rusty. Obi-Wan is not in the top level folder. He's in the Star Wars folder. So no wonder the link is broken, for gosh sakes. So Star Wars / Obi-Wan. Okay, here we go. Wow. Oh, wow, there he is. Nice. Okay, let me close off that. Sorry about that. And then, okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So now I'm going to do Star Wars / Yoda. And notice he is a PNG graphics file. And for his text, I'm going to type in Yoda. Yoda. So run that. Okay, it's run, which means it's reloaded. Let me hit refresh. Okay, now all 3 guys are there. Okay, so anyway, my title is ginormous. My images are ginormous, and let's make this a little bit better. Okay, a nice screen resolution is like 900. So let's see. Let me resize the title. See how huge it is. Let me make the width about 800 pixels. Okay. So, oh wow. My project is refreshing. Wow, nothing like crashing while you're filming, but I'm going to keep going. Oh, there we go. Wow. Okay. So let's see. Width equals 800, or quote 800. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So let me run this and see that ginormous title. Let me refresh. Okay, see that how much that's a lot bigger size. Now notice these guys are right next to my title because there's no line break. So let me, after this, I'm going to go ahead and close this file list so I have more room to code. After this, let me do a couple line breaks. So BR. Okay, so let me run that. And I go to this tab and refresh. Okay, so there is a nice size title instead of it being ginormous. Now, see these guys? They're next to each other. If I resize my window, notice they're not next to each other anymore. They're just floating wherever. So I'm going to put them in a table. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, let me show a little background. In tables, there's basically three tags. The table tag, TABLE, is for the entire table. And then you have the TR for one row, and TD is the data in each row. Okay, in the lesson, actually in here, I have a link to W3 Schools on tables. That's a good example. Okay, so this whole thing is a table. This is actually the heading, company, contact, country, and then these are a row. That's a row, and that's a row. And notice they have the tags like this. So here's the table tag. So that's for the whole table. TR is one row, and then TD is the three cells in each row. So in this row, I have Alfred, Maria, and Germany. In this one, I have Centro Comercial, Francisco, and Mexico. And then this row, I have Ernst, Roland, and Austria. So notice every row has a TR. The whole table has table, and TD are the table data. So I'm going to kind of model that here. So let's see. Let's make our table before the images, but after the title. So let's do the table tag. And then get a row. TR is for table row. And then for my first table data, I'm going to put the word Batman. And then notice I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to do, who's my next image? Spider-Man. So I'm going to go with text first, and then I'll put the images in this table in a second. And then one more, I have Superman. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead, hit enter, and then close out the row and close out the table. Okay, so let's take a look at this and run it. Okay, so notice here's my table right here in the middle, and it's they're all squished together. If you want to see, if you want to stretch across the page, let's do the style tag for the table equals width colon 100%. Okay. Okay, so let's see what that does, if that stretches out my table a little bit. Okay, so now let me get the big screen and refresh. So now this is stretched across the whole screen. They look right justified because that's in the TD. So in the table data, let's do this. Table data. So in the TD tag, align equals center. So I can copy that whole tag. TD align equals center. And then paste it and paste it. So I'm going to align each word in its table. So let me run that. Take it here, see how they're right justified, and reload. And now Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman are basically centered in their cell. Okay. Right now, it's hard to see like what the table looks like. So for temporary, let's put in a border width. So in style, table style, let's do border 1 pixel solid black. Okay, so let's see what that does. Let me run that and refresh. And you can see, okay, now you can see the whole table. Generally on websites, you hide the border, but I just want to show you there's an actual table there. And for the each individual cell, let me copy this and paste in. And we don't want the width, but I want the border. So let's take a look here. So align the table data center and give me a border around Batman. So there's Batman. Let me refresh this and notice Batman. The Batman table data cell has a border around it. And I could do the same. Let me copy this and put it in here and in here. So now my table data says, hey, not only align the text, but put a border around each table data cell. So run it and refresh. So now you can kind of see the table data. Okay, there's Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman. Okay, now, so that's basically how you lay things out. Now I want to put the 3 images in the table. Now this width is kind of wide. Well, that's fine. That's 100% of my whole web page. Let's go with that. All right. So instead of Batman, I want to put in the image tag inside here. Okay, so I'm going to grab Batman. And before I do that, Batman is so tall. Let's make the height of Batman equal to maybe 200. So that's in pixels. So let me run that. And so here's Batman before the refresh, and okay, Batman 200. Okay, that's probably a little small. Let's maybe make him like 600. His height. Okay, let me reload that. 600. Okay, not bad. So I'm going to put Batman 600, and I'm going to make these all have a 600 height, just to uniform. Okay, there we go. So let's see what this looks like with the 3 characters. Okay, so now they're all the same height. Okay, since Spider-Man looks kind of out of scale. You know, I could make Spider-Man more like 400, just so he looks roughly in scale with the other. So you can play around with your image sizes. Oops, I can just refresh and take a look. Okay, so now Spider-Man looks pretty much the same, and then Anakin comes over here. So now, how do I get my images in my table? Okay, so I'm going to do this for in the table, just for clarity. I'm going to do the TDs like this, and you'll see why in a moment. So I'm hitting backspace. Oops. And then okay. So and then let me add some white space just for clarity. Okay, so here's my Batman cell. It says the word Batman. Here's my Spider-Man. And notice by adding this white space, it doesn't affect what my page looks like at all. Okay, now what I'm going to do is instead of this word Batman, I'm going to take this link, the Batman image link, Control X, cut, and I'm going to paste it right here. And I'm going to take this Spider-Man image link, Control X, I'm going to paste it right in here where it used to say the word Spider-Man. And I'm going to take this image, Superman, Control X, and I'm going to paste it right over the word Superman. Okay. And then let me run this and see this, refresh it. Oh, wow, there are my three images nicely laid out on the page. Okay, notice the borders are there just so you can see what the tables, the cells look like, but there we go. If I want to turn off the borders, okay, I could just delete that, or it might be quicker to say the border is 0 pixel. See what that does, run that. Generally, when you do a web page, so there it is with 1 pixel. So there is my web page laid out with the table is still there, organizing my three. Let me shrink this page a little bit. So notice they stay, now even when I shrink my web page, these three stay nice and together in their table. So that's the cool part about that. Okay, if I shrink it below the images, then they're just cut off. They're not bounced to the next. Okay, so basically that's all I want to do now is for the 3 Star Wars guys is do that. So you know how we made the border 0 pixel? Some people might consider that wasted code, so I can delete those if I want just to clean this up. 0 pixel border means basically nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that and delete that just in case someone looks at this later. And then let me run this and refresh and make sure I didn't break anything. Okay, so that's basically good. Now I want to do the same for Star Wars. Okay, so basically what I want you to do is, okay, here's my table. This is all the code for my first table. Let's put in a couple line breaks just to split up the 2 tables. And then let me just go ahead, save some time, grab all this code for the table and paste it after the line breaks. And then I'm going to get these 3 images and put them instead. So I'm going to Control X. I'm going to put him right here. And I'm going to get this one, Control X to cut. And I'm going to put him where Spider-Man is. And in a second, I'm going to adjust their heights because they're ginormous. Control X, and then Yoda is going to go in the third table data cell. And let's see, let's get a height of maybe 600. So space height 600, 600, and 600. Okay, so let's start with that. So here is a new table. Here's my table. I have one row, TR, and it has 3 TDs. The first TD is this guy. The first TD is this one. Here's the second table data and the third. So let's give it a look, and oh wow. Okay, so let me refresh this guy. And now there my page is laid out very nice. So I resized my title. I got my 3 comic book guys in one table, a couple line breaks to space it out, and my 3 Star Wars guys in another. Okay, notice Yoda is really tall. If you've seen the movies, he's shorter. So let's see, let me go to Yoda and maybe make him like half the size just for giggles and run it. And let's take a look at Yoda and refresh. Okay, so now he is centered as well. Okay, if you want to do other things, you can, but basically that's what I want you to do is for this project 7.05 is now organize your 6 images into 2 tables. So one table like this and one table like that. And then when you're done, you should have a page that looks something like this with a title kind of centered and nice, and then your tables. By the way, to center the title, you can add in that center tag in the body, and that centers the title. Okay, and then you, down below, I can get rid of some of this white space now. Before you close off your body, you close off the center tag. To center things in the table, you have to do it right inside each cell. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Here's my tab title. Here's my title image. That's how I center everything in the body. And then here are those, here's the first table, a couple line breaks. Here's my second table. Okay, and then your finished product should look something like that. Okay, this project was part 1 and part 2. Just for clarity, you don't need to turn in part 1 with the images just everywhere and kind of a mess. I just want you to turn in only part 2, where it's nice and neat and it looks something like this. Okay. All right, this is Mr. Hicks signing off for project 7.05. Remember, all you need to turn in is part 2.